It having reached the hour of 5:30 p.m., I am calling the May 24th, 2022 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Madrigal. Is he on Zoom?
I do not see him on Zoom.
Councilmember Ricky.
Present.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Present.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from John Torres from City Ministry Network. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, John.
Thank you. All right, let's pray. Father, thank you for this day. I'm honored to be leading the invocation for this evening. And Father, I want to thank you for giving these council members a heart to serve their community. I would also like to thank you, Lord, for the hearts of the people in this room and their hearts for their community. Lord, I ask that you guide these proceedings, let them reflect you and your love for us. Thank you again, Father, for all that you do. We love you and we say this in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. 2 announcements. No email correspondence was received for the meeting this evening. And second announcement, item 1, appointments to the Standing Committee and City Council Liaison Committees has been amended to include Councilmember Rosa Escutia-Brayton and Mayor Zwallen as alternates to the STANCOG Executive Committee. Copies of the revised appointments list have been placed at the dais and in the lobby.
All right. Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest?
And Mayor, maybe I could jump in here. In an abundance of caution, Councilmember Ricky will be recusing himself from item number 6 under the consent calendar. Councilmember Ricky's employer has done some subcontracting work for TBWBH, which is the consultant involved in the item. The subcontracting was not related to the City of Modesto and will not be related to any work under tonight's item. However, to avoid any perception issue, Councilmember Ricky will be recusing himself. And that's on the consent calendar, so that could be done pooled for a separate vote.
All right, thank you very much. Will the city attorney report out on closed session?
Mayor, no reportable action was taken under tonight's closed session.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is miscellaneous items. Item 1, consider approving the mayor's appointments to the City of Modesto standing committees and city council liaison committees. Are there any questions regarding those appointments from council members? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Do not see anyone in person or online. All right, I believe Councilmember Madrigal may be trying to join the meeting. All right. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve
this item and also as amended? Thank you. Vice Mayor Wright?
Second.
All right. Second from Councilmember Escutia-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal. Councilmember Ricky.
Aye. Aye, sorry. Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So that carries 6-0. Item 2, consider accepting the resignation of Lynn Dickerson from the city's Blight Abatement Advisory Committee. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, any comments from the public? None at this time. Comments from council? All right, do I have a motion to accept
Motion
that?
to approve?
All right, motion by Vice Mayor Wright.
Second.
second by Councilmember Scudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal,
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky,
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton,
Aye.
and Mayor Zwollen.
Aye. Carries 6-0. Item 3, consider approving the appointment of Matthew Speckman to the Stanislaus Animal Services Agency Advisory Committee. Are there any questions from staff? Or excuse me, from council? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Seeing none, comments from council? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion approved by Vice Mayor Wright, seconded by Councilmember Scudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal,
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky,
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton,
Aye.
and Mayor Zwollen.
Aye. Carries 6-0. Next, we will go to the public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? And this is for items not on the council agenda, and each person has 3 minutes to speak. I have not received any blue cards from anyone in person, and I do not, excuse me?
We do have Jeremiah Williams.
Okay, sure. Jeremiah, please approach the dais or the microphone.
Good evening, members of council. I come before you today with sad news that one of the candidates for District 2 had a stroke and passed away last week, and I think it's only fitting. His name was Sean Harrison. It's unfortunate. They did have a honor walk. He will be giving 4 of his organs. He is an organ donor, which is beautiful for him to be able to do that. But I would love to have a moment of silence, if that's okay, in this session.
Sure.
Moment of silence, please, for Sean Harrison. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiah. All right, I do not see any other public comments waiting at this time. So we will go on to consent items. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 4, consider approving the minutes from the May 10th, 2022 council meeting. Item 5, consider approving a resolution continuing to authorize remote teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. Item 6 was removed from consent. Item 7, consider approving an equipment use and broadcasting equipment agreement with Central Valley Media Center My TV 26 for the purchase and lease of a digital broadcast server from Televu Corporation for an amount of $33,236 plus $3,324 in contingency for a total amount not to exceed $36,560, amending the fiscal year 2021-2022 annual operating budget to increase the expenditure in the Public Educational Governmental Fund in the amount of $36,560 and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute the final terms of the agreement. Item 8, consider amending the city's community facility district policies and procedures, authorizing the city council to establish interfund loans from the general fund up to $450,000 for the formation of future CFDs, and authorizing the city manager to carry out the necessary budget adjustments to implement the interfund loans for the CFD formations up to the total amount of $450,000. Item 9, consider approving the awarded proposal and agreement for CFD administration services to Goodwin Consulting Group for a 2-year agreement with 3 one-year extension options for an annual estimated amount of $90,000 and a total amount not to exceed $450,000. Item 10, consider approving a 2-year agreement with Stanislaus County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services for a series of 40-hour crisis intervention and de-escalating training classes for an amount not to exceed $116,800. Item 11, consider approving the addition of the Sacramento Police Academy to the agencies authorized to furnish police officer standards and training academy services and increase the estimated annual cost by $25,000 to a new total of $125,000 and the total amount not to exceed $625,000 over 5 years, and rescinding Resolution 2021-066. Item 12, consider approving the city's sponsorship for the 23rd Annual 2022 North Modesto Kiwanis Graffiti Parade and Car Show, including the waiver of the city permit fees, police department overtime and vehicle costs, and streets division labor and equipment costs, and an estimated cost of $82,430. Item 13, consider accepting the Del Rio Wells 70 Surface Improvements Project as complete, authorizing all necessary steps to file with the county clerk recorder, releasing securities and releasing payments totaling $2,444,787 to Conco West Inc. of Manteca. Item 14, consider accepting the rebid of Cadoni Lift Station 4's main replacement project as complete, authorizing all necessary steps to file with the county recorder, releasing securities and releasing payments totaling $242,334 to Rolf Construction Company out of Atwater.
Move to approve all consent items except item number 6.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by motion by Councilmember Canoyer, second by Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal,
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky,
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton,
Aye.
and Mayor Zwollen.
Aye. So it carries 6-0. Next, we will go back to item 6. Will the clerk please read item 6?
Yes, Mayor. Consider approving a First Amendment with TBWBH props and measures from San Francisco for professional polling public opinion research services, increasing the scope of services to include Task 2 to increase the agreement by $114,634, including a 5% contingency from $49,263 for a new estimated total amount not to exceed $163,897.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion
Move
to
to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Canoyer,
second.
a second by Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal,
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
No, that's
Oh,
recusal.
that's right. Sorry. Councilmember Ricky was recused, so I will withdraw that roll call for him. Councilmember Canoyer,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton,
Aye.
and Mayor Zwollen.
Aye. So it carries 5-0 with Councilmember Ricky recused. All right. We will go on to council comments and reports. Do any members of the council have any comments or reports? Vice Mayor Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a great time Sunday afternoon going out to all the different porch fests. I think that's what they call it. I think every district had one except for District 6. We're a little bit come to the party lately district, so I'm gonna have to work on having some porch fest in District 6. But some great in District number District number 4 and District number 3 had some great events and great food, great music, and it was great to see a lot of Modestans out enjoying the evening, a beautiful evening, and having a great time. I just want to thank all the participants that put on a Porch Fest at their home or in their neighborhood. You guys did a great job, and we need to expand on that and make it a maybe a couple times a year, because it's a great, great way to meet your neighbors and have some great fellowship.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Ricky?
I'm going to turn my camera back on. I just want to also share Councilmember Wright's feelings about the Porch Fest. It was really a blast to have it back in town. You know, people all over my district were out celebrating music, and the weather was perfect. And to me, it just kind of showcases just what a great place Modesto is to live. I mean, it's the kind of event, the kind of thing that our city should be encouraging and supporting and promoting. So I really think it's kind of a showcase of what our city is and what it's capable of doing. And I'm just hopeful that we can kind of build on this kind of thing. The next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the homeless situation in our city. We just have to keep talking about the homeless crisis here in Modesto. We know it's the biggest city our issue has. Our current strategy, which I know we do a lot, but we also do a lot of kind of shrugging and saying we have plenty of room in the shelters, and it's just not really working out like we need it to. You know, we need to get safe parking going. We need to get safe camping going. We've got to start trying some new strategies to really take a bite out of this problem, because it's not getting better and it's not going away.
All right. Any other comments, Councilmember Ricky?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. Do any other council members? Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Had an opportunity last week to be in community and celebrate or attend the Mayor in the Park event. So for those of you that don't know about this event, the mayor is putting on visiting all the districts and welcoming the community to come and listen and meet some of the electeds and ask questions. And one of the departments in the city is highlighted. In my District 1, Parks and Rec was highlighted. So it was a wonderful gathering. We had a great presence from staff from Parks and Rec and other organizations that support park and recreation. They handed out helmets to children, they handed out T-shirts, popcorn, and they answered a lot of questions in regards to our 76 parks that we have here in Modesto. So it was a beautiful day. And it was the same day that was Ride Your Bike to Work Day. So a lot of us rode our bikes to the event. Again, it was well attended. And if you have not had your Mayor in the Park event in your district, I encourage you to check our website to see when that date is and attend it. It's a great event. I encourage you to go. Also last week, I had the opportunity as a board member for the Stanislaus Council of Governments. I had an opportunity to go to Fresno last week to the CTC, and that's the California Transportation Commission meeting. And this is a very important body of people. It's a 13-member commission. Basically, it's responsible for programming and allocating funds for the construction of highways, rail, transit, and active transportation improvements throughout California, including Modesto. This commission also advises and assists the State Transportation Agency and the legislature on formulating and evaluating state policies and plans for California's transportation programs. It was a very well-attended meeting. At this meeting, we received updates on state and federal legislative matters, and also an update on the implementation of the various infrastructure investment and job acts, the details of that act. And that, as some of you might know, the act was signed into law by President Biden last November. One of the legislations that they talked about is the $1.2 trillion for infrastructure programs, of which California is expected to receive $190 billion for transportation in the next 5 years. It's a big deal. So it's very important to be at the table to hear more information and how Modesto could get a piece of that pie. Sorry to be so vulgar to put it that way, but it's just there's a lot of funding coming down the pike, and I'm certain staff will be on it to ensure that Modesto participates in whatever funding opportunities there are out there that can help our particular projects. This agency was instrumental in funding, in part, our very own State Route 132 project. So we just successfully are wrapping up phase 1 of that project, and we're now veering into phase 2 and then eventually phase 3. And that project is coming along very nicely. So all in all, this visit with this commission was very valuable. Got to meet firsthand new commissioners and to build a relationship with them, a relationship that I hope can be of value to Modesto down the road. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a few brief comments that I will make. In regards to the helmets, I do want to recognize Safe Kids Stanislaus that were represented at the Meet the Mayor in the Park. And that is a group of, well, one of my former coworkers in the emergency room. It's part of her task to work with young people regarding safety. And they put on what was known as every 15 minutes with high schools to prevent students dying from impaired driving. A lot of information regarding distracted driving. That's the #1 cause of crashes for people. But one of their goals is also to provide as many bicycle helmets as possible for children. And it was really great to see the children in the park lined up to receive those helmets and hopefully save some real serious injuries down the road. I did also have the opportunity to attend Special Olympics at Gregory High School, which was so inspiring, and I went from that to the Miracle League, which is another baseball league at Big Valley Christian Church. They have a specially designed baseball diamond for children with special needs, and it was also extremely inspiring to watch the children participate and the joy that they experienced. Any other comments? Councilmember Madrigal.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Real quick, just want to share with my colleagues in the public that since our last council meeting, I did attend the League of Cities, they now call themselves Cal Cities, but the League of California Cities board meeting as the Central Valley board member. And just briefly want to report that the board did take a vote regarding endorsing or not endorsing the California Plastic Pollution Reduction and Recycling Act. That is possibly going to be on the November ballot, and the vote fell 2 votes shy of receiving the endorsement. So the board will be, I think, revisiting this issue again at I believe it's the July board meeting, and that's kind of the main highlight I wanted to share with you all.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, I forgot one more highlight.
Okay.
I did also attend the Forward Together community input meetings that were held in the King Kennedy Memorial Center in West Modesto. The one in English that happened in the morning, and the one in the one in Spanish that happened in the morning, and the one in English that happened in the evening. There was some good questions that were brought up at both sides, especially in the morning session. I think it was a good first step. I would like to see more of these community input meetings held in English and in Spanish, and if possible in other languages throughout the city, and especially in South Modesto and in West Modesto. So that's my feedback. I know that's the feedback that some of the constituents and community members said from the folks that were in attendance. And okay, now that's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Wright.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing concerning the Special Olympics. I was able to attend with the mayor, but one of our Stanislaus students there, Sean Hicks, made state finals. So now he will go to the state finals, and then from there, hopefully, to the Olympics for representing Stanislaus County. And I think he's out of Modesto, but I'm not for sure on that. But my shout out to him and his family. He's a fast runner. He can run a lot faster than I can, that's for sure. And wish him all luck.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from council members? Seeing none at this time, we will hear city manager comments and reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to introduce to the council and community Scott Kahn, our new Chief Information Officer. He brings to us a mix of private and public sector experience, and I look forward to Scott joining our team. I'd also like to acknowledge Kevin Harless, who did a great job in the interim while we filled that appointment. So I appreciate your help, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and welcome, Scott. All right, next on the agenda is hearings. Item 15, a hearing to consider approving a capital facilities fees exemption agreement in the amount of $62,100 with Stanislaus County Affordable Housing Corporation, STANCO, for a 6-unit project located at 835 California Avenue. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Peter Ibrahim, Infrastructure Financing Program Supervisor. The item before you tonight for consideration is a CFF exemption agreement for the project located at 835 California Avenue. Some background on CFF exemptions. The City of Modesto Capital Facility Fees Program was established in 1987 to mitigate the impacts of new development. These CFF fees are assessed on all new construction, and they are based on specific land use categories and are collected at the time of building permit issuance. Fee exemptions are provided to foster the development of residential units affordable to very low and low-income housing of those below 50% of the area median income, AMI. Of the 15,689 residential building permits issued since, 707 of these permits were granted CFF exemptions. Next slide. Okay. On February 22nd, 2022, the Stanislaus County Affordable Housing Corporation, also known as STANCO, submitted a CFF exemption application for its project located at 835 California Avenue. This project will provide 6 permanent supportive housing units for very low-income households with family members with serious mental illness. These units will be affordable to households earning 30% or less of area median income. The property consists of 6 units, like I mentioned before, 1 efficiency unit, which is similar to a studio, 3 one-bedroom, and 2 two-bedrooms. Next slide. And here's an aerial shot, as well as a mapped location of the project. So continuing on project background, on April 6, 2021, the City Council approved Community Development Block Grant Funds, CV funding of $450,000 to acquire the property. The property was then utilized as transitional housing facility for behavioral health and recovery service clients, BHRS, in response to housing needs due to the COVID-19 pandemic since that time. STANCO is interested in building 6 additional permitted supportive housing on the property to serve these same clients. STANCO was awarded $2.3 million with HHAP funding and No Place Like Home funding to construct the 6 new units. So they're definitely leveraging some funding here. And a little bit on the CFF exemption compliance. The CFF exemption application complies with our city's CFF policies and procedures to foster the development of residential units that are affordable to very low-income households, as well as certain qualifying residential units affordable to low-income households. All the eligible tenants' total income at the time of move-in shall not exceed the 30% AMI limit for all of the assisted units. And these residential units must be maintained affordable to very low-income households for a period of 10 years. Approving the CFF exemption will result in an exemption of $62,100 in capital facilities fees. And I should add that this is not an impact to the general fund. And with that, I can take any questions related to the exemption application.
All right, thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions from council members? Seeing none, any comments from the public regarding this agenda item? Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Steve Madison. I'm the Executive Director for STANCO. Very good job on the staff report. I have nothing to add. I just appreciate the opportunity for STANCO to continue its partnership with the city and the County of Stanislaus Behavioral Health and Recovery Services to serve a population in our community that has a great need and is a difficult to serve population, so any housing we produce is very helpful to those folks. Thank you.
Thank you. any other comments from the public? Seeing none at this time, are there any comments from council members?
I would just like to applaud staff and seeing this project through, as Mr. Matt has indicated. It's a worthy, challenging constituency group to find housing, and this was a good fit, and it's an honorable program. So congrats on the good work of seeing this through.
I would echo similar words. The need is great in our community. It's very obvious that we have a need for housing for people that are struggling with mental illness. So I am thrilled that we are doing something to address that great need. All right, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to move this agenda item forward.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, sorry, excusez-moi. This is a resolution for approving a capital facilities fees exemption agreement in the amount of $62,100 with Stanislaus County Affordable Housing Corporation for the 6-unit project located at 835 California Avenue, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. And I have a motion from Councilmember Scudia-Brayton and a second from Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, so it carries 6-0. All right, I do have a blue card here for Brent Burnside, and I believe that it was regarding something on the consented agenda is what I'm thinking. Welcome. This is for public comment.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, City Management, and staff. Brent Burnside here with the North Modesto Kiwanis Group, and just wanted to say thank you, folks, for teaming up with us and putting on Modesto's largest event. It's our 23rd year, and as there's no I in team up there, there's no I in my team, as I've got a few team members out here that are here to support us tonight. We have about 60 members that are in the graffiti committee with me. We have a 94 membership for North Modesto Kiwanis, and again, our main goal is to put on the greatest event for our community that you folks support, and all of our funds that we do raise for Stanislaus County children's programs, 18 and under. It's nice to be part of that, and I've been a witness as a past president in my 6th year with the event, that it can go up to as north as $120,000, $130,000 we've brought back and from this event to our community children's programs. So I have some posters we've left for you. We've got a slew of great dedicated 4th generation sponsors that have been with us every year, and I want to one last thing, say thank you to your streets crew. I know your MPD is going to be stressed, and they reach out to all the Stanislaus County folks as well. We've got over 200 volunteers between these 3 days that our #1 goal is to put on the safe, hopefully a cool event. Hopefully Mother Nature isn't too hot for us. But again, we just appreciate all your confidence in us, and we look forward to putting on a great event and coming back next year. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. We look forward to it also. And thank you for bringing the posters and all the other goodies. Appreciate you being here. All right, next on to item 16, a hearing to consider approving the City of Modesto Home American Rescue Plan, ARP, as the program year 2021-2022 Annual Action Plan Amendment Number 1, accepting the Home ARP grant in the amount of $3,409,774 and amending the fiscal year 2021-2022 multi-year fund budget to program the Home ARP grant funds awarded to the City of Modesto. And welcome, Jessica Hill.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Jessica Hill, the Community Development Manager. I'm going to do a presentation which will encompass items 16 and 17, and then I'll ask for different votes on those items following presentation. So a little bit of background is today we're asking for approval for our annual action plan for year 2022-2023. This is the third year of our consolidated plan, and what it does is identifies projects that we look on spending the HUD entitlement funding we'll receive in the next program year. So for 2020-2023, our official allocations actually came out last week. We'll be receiving $1.8 million in CDBG, $158,000 in ESG, and just over $1 million in Home Investment Partnership Programs Act. So for CDBG, it could be used for public infrastructure improvements, public facilities, housing acquisition and rehabilitation, and public services. Emergency solutions grants are to help with homeless prevention, rapid rehousing, emergency shelter operations, and our homeless management information system. And lastly, homes for the construction of new housing, the rehabilitation to existing housing, and first-time homebuyer assistance. So as part of our home allocation for the Home Rescue Plan Act is under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the city, of that part of that $1.9 trillion, the city was allocated $3.4 million in what's called home ARP funds. The goal of these funds is to quickly create new units of affordable housing to help support our homeless population. So here you see is that we'll receive $3.4 million with an expenditure deadline of September 30th, 2030. As you can see, it's there to assist homeless, those at risk of homelessness, with eligible activities to support the production or preservation of affordable housing. To receive these funds, the city is required to do a multitude of things. One of those is seek input from stakeholders and citizens, develop a plan that identifies the gaps in services for the population, determine the best use of this funding, and then to ensure that we have the public comment for 15 days prior to the approval of the plan. So what we did is we looked at all of our planning process that we've recently completed and partnered with Stanislaus County on. Some of these include our regional homeless plan, the state of California affordable housing plan, our consolidated plan, our point in time counts, and our homeless management information system data. We also reached out to local stakeholders, including the Stanislaus Homeless Alliance, the Community System of Care, targeted emails and phone calls, as well as surveys, and then reaching out to our homeless population. As part of this plan, we've looked at our four most relevant plans, and the biggest gap that was identified was a lack of affordable housing. In regards to our HMIS data, this is actually the amount of homeless individuals that we served during a program year. So in the county-wide, our last year, we served 3,215 households. If we estimate based on how many reside within the city of Modesto, that's 2,443 households. As you kind of look towards the furthest column, it's the gap based on our analysis. And so the needs for permanent supportive housing based on our HMIS data is 761 new units of housing. Based on this information, what we did was identify that the development of affordable housing was our #1 goal in the community, and we are recommending to allocate 2.8, almost 2.9 million for this endeavor. Our goal of this is to produce at least 102 new units of affordable housing. And what we'll plan to do is submit or issue a request for proposals to local nonprofit developers to identify projects available within the city of Modesto. Some of our proposed conceptual activities for both our traditional entitlement funds and our home ARP funds are as follows. So one of those being Dr. Martin Luther King Park. We were able to leverage CDBG funds totaling $350,000, and the Parks Department also received a Prop 68 grant to help support the renovation of this park. We have our homeowner rehabilitation program, which we're allocating $500,000 over the next year. And this is for homeowners within the city of Modesto for health and safety repairs. We'll continue to support our Camp to Home program, which includes outreach, shelter, job training, employment, and permanent housing. One of our biggest endeavors we're working on is another hotel-motel conversion. And so we've released the joint request for information with Stanislaus County to gauge interest. We did have 9 local motels who were interested. However, we're looking for a possible affordable housing developer who's willing to take on this effort and own and operate the hotel moving forward. We do have a couple in mind that we're hoping to bring forward within the next, I would say, 4 to 6 months. Another program is on TRIP. Oops. That's okay. Which we're looking to partner with the Housing Authority. This is for an additional 92 units, 70 units for those being families, and 22 units for seniors. The cool part of this project is they did receive a direct federal allocation of funding in the tune of $3 million from Congressman Harder. We're looking to partner with Stanislaus Equity Partners and City Ministry Network to look at church properties who have underutilized properties who are interested in building new tiny units on their property. It's a partnership with R3, and we're looking within the next couple months to bring forward a pilot project at Free Will Baptist Church at 225 and 233 East Orangeburg. We're looking to help leverage some of our HUD funding to with our city-owned properties. So as we continue to surplus city-owned properties, as part of the Surplus Land Act, it first needs to be offered for affordable housing. And so we do have our affordable housing partners who have identified some properties that they could quickly put new units of housing on to help serve our homeless or our affordable housing projects. So as part of our public engagement, we made sure that we reached out to many community stakeholders starting on April 4th and continuing through May 24th of this year. Some of the key stakeholders we reached out to was the airport neighborhood, West Modesto, California Community Builders, Stanislaus Community System of Care, our Stanislaus Homeless Alliance, our local Community Housing and Community Development Committee, our CH&CDC, and then tonight here at our council meeting. Following approval tonight, we will work on submitting both our annual action plan for 22-23 and our home art plan by July 12th. And then any projects that are covered in this presentation will return to council once we are ready to fund for future consideration. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, so at this point, we will officially open the public hearing. Are there any, does council have any questions of staff?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Yes. Thank you, Jessica, for your report. On your HUD funding, are those, what was our figures last year? Are we pretty much in line with the same amount of grants we got from HUD last year than we are this year?
That is correct. It's based on a formula allocation, and so it's very similar to what we received last year.
So do you see that formula increasing so we get more down the road?
We are hearing, it looks like there could be additional funding allocated this direction, but at this time, this is our allocation for this year.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from council members?
I do, Mayor.
All right, Council Member Scudia Brayton.
Thank you very much. What is your time frame for, I imagine the time frame might be different for different projects, but overall, you see this being completed by, or is that even a fair question to ask?
Well, it's a little bit hard to say.
Yeah.
So this action tonight is actually approving a plan to have the city eligible to receive funding from HUD. And so what we've continued to do is working with the different affordable housing providers to get their projects, I guess, shovel ready and have them formally apply through a request for proposals in the summer. Our goal is to have some moved forward to council within summer, fall, but it'll depend on the developer readiness.
And your updating of these various projects and initiatives will be individual, or will it all come together as a collective report out?
So it'll be both. And so each project that we take forward that we allocate funding to will have to be brought to council separately. And then on September of this year is what we do is called our Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, which talks about all of our successes for the year. So,
is there a place on our website where someone might be able to go on and read more about these projects and stay up to date on the progress of them?
Absolutely. We do have all of our projects on our website as well as all of our planning documents as well.
And can you just reiterate what that URL, how it reads?
Off the top of my head,
okay.
But it is in the Community Development Division within Community and Economic Development Department. So if you can go to department and then to division, and I'll have Scotty maybe look it up.
Maybe you could just say that just a little bit slower so I can write it down.
So all of our projects are within the Community and Economic Development Department, and then our division is called the Community Development Division. And through that, you can find the projects that we funded, as well as the plans and all that have been approved and available for comment.
Great, thank you. Very impressive. Very much look forward to all of your project successes and hear more about them. Thanks.
All right, any other questions from council members for item 16? We will do them separately. Seeing none, any comments from the public on item 16? Welcome.
Greetings again, members of the council. Jeremiah Williams. I want to encourage those who need the down payment assistance for their home to do so. 24 years ago, I had the opportunity to be able to use some funding to buy my first home in District 5, and I was very pleased to be able to get that. And of course, we paid that back as soon as we possibly could, and so I encourage people to do so. It is a easy process, and it's not very difficult to qualify. Other than that, I am looking to encourage others who are in the community who have property. I have a piece of property downtown that we're already looking at putting 4 tiny houses on, which would make it very convenient for a lot of shoppers and those that are for transportation, the whole 9 yards. So if there are properties out there and you hear this under the sound of my voice and you were not sure whether or not to participate, it is a good thing. Ruben Imperial from the county has already come out and surveyed the piece of property, and it is a doable project. So I just want to encourage those here that are here or online to be able to start thinking about participating in helping our community have housing. That's it.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. My name is Sebastian J. Jones. I am with the Martin Luther King Committee, also one of the greatest community actors here in Modesto. I'm hoping we're trying to get some funding here because this project I've been working on, trying to secure these apartments, and I would like for my organization, because I think it's about 10 units, well over 6 years, I didn't put my bless oil on it, but I'm still hoping to partner with the city as 10 family units, or we can take 10 family off the streets. That's all for Yosemite. But I've been looking at this property. So I'm sorry I came back in late. But I'm hoping this is one of the projects here I guess I go through. I've been talking to Jalen, and I know your name. Excuse me. I'm a little tired. I've been knocking on doors all day. But I hope this is what this is, Mayor. And I like to, as a minority, I like to get into that and see if they can, fund me and help me partner up so we can get some people off the street, special homeless. That's 10 units, 2 bedrooms. Just needs a little fixing up. But I've been looking at it almost 6 years, maybe 7. And I think that it's a good thing for Modesto. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Any other public comments at this time on item 16? I do not see anyone else in person or online. Any other comments from council members? All right. I will read the resolutions. A resolution approving the City of Modesto Home American Rescue Plan as the program year 2021-2022 Annual Action Plan Amendment Number 1, and accepting the Home Art Grant in the amount of $3,409,774, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to negotiate and execute any forms, related to the acceptance of this grant. A resolution amending the fiscal year 2021-2022 multi-year fund budget, amending the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 home grant funds in the amount of $3,409,774 with the appropriate revenue and expenditure allocations, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to accept the federal grant funds and to take the necessary steps to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Excuse me, a motion by Vice Mayor Wright, second by Councilmember Ricky. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Okay.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. So it carries 6-0. Next, we will go to item 17, which has already been discussed in the previous report. We will open the hearing to approve the City of Modesto Program Year 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan and amending the City of Modesto's fiscal year 2022-2023 annual operating, multi-year, and capital improvement project budgets to reflect the allocation of funds outlined in the Program Year 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan. We've had the staff report. Are there any questions from council members of staff regarding item 17? Seeing none, any comments from the public regarding this item? There are none. Any comments from staff? Excuse me, from council. I did that twice tonight. All right. So I have a resolution approving the City of Modesto Program Year 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan for use of Community Development Block Grant Programs, Emergency Solutions Grant, and Home Investment Partnerships Program funding received from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to negotiate and execute any related program agreements, contracts, or other documentation required for implementation of the program year 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan, and authorizing the city manager to submit applicable documentation and provide technical alterations as required by HUD, incorporate comments received prior to the close of the public comment period, and to make the necessary steps to implement the provision of this resolution. Also, a resolution approving the allocation of funds outlined in the program year 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan budget to reflect proposal submitted to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to take the necessary steps to implement the provisions of this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Approved by Councilmember Ricky.
Second.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Madrigal.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Canoyer.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries 6-0. All right. We will move on to matters too late for the agenda. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council be adjourned.